with your host, Andrew Romanella.
When you play Battle in Mario Kart and you don't turn off any of the items, there are bananas everywhere. I mean, it's like you're losing your balloons because you're slipping on bananas left and right. Bananas everywhere. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of The Rome Show here on 12ozsports.com. We're broadcasting live on YouTube, X, and Roku TV. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. Happy January 21st, 2025. It's a Tuesday, and we got you for the next 30 or 35 minutes. Join us on the social media, The Rome Show 1, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, X, whatever social media you got. Follow us on it at The Rome Show 1 or 12OZ Sports. That's 12, the number, OZ Sports, all social medias, the website, YouTube, Roku TV, the whole nine. Follow the mothership. We got a great show for you today. Every Tuesday is a great show on the Rome Show because we are joined around 7:10, 7:15 by the one, the only Rocky Romanella. He joins us to talk hockey, segments called Hockey with Rocky. So I hope that gives you an idea. But just to bring you behind the curtain a little bit, I was on the phone with Mr. Rocky Romanella last night, and we were watching for a little bit the national championship game. So I do believe Rocky has some thoughts or some feelings on Notre Dame versus Ohio State. I must say, and obviously we are going to break that game down to start the show today, but I must tell you that when I was speaking with my brother yesterday and we were watching Ohio State Notre Dame, we're saying to ourselves, is it happening again? Like, is anyone else tired of the story of Notre Dame going to the national championship and just not playing good football? They come down, first drive of the game. It is we'll use proper English. It was an 18-play, 9:45, 75-yard drive, capped off by a Riley Leonard touchdown. Notre Dame goes up 7-0. And you're like, okay, here we go. I can't remember, outside of the two bowl games they've already played this year, a time in the last 10 when Notre Dame showed up on the stage to win it all or to win something gigantic and didn't perform poorly. Marcus Freeman has started to turn that trend. This year, Northern Illinois bit them in the butt early in the season. They flipped that, and they run it all the way to the national championship. And they changed the narrative on Notre Dame football to the point where people are questioning whether or not Brian Kelly should even be coaching anything in football anymore. Flag, peewee, high school, anything. That's how much Marcus Freeman has turned around the culture at Notre Dame. But then you get to the national championship game, and it feels like Manti Te'o 2011 versus Alabama. And you're like, wait, weren't they just winning 7-0? And just like that, Ohio State's up 31-7. It felt like we went from the first score of the game at the 5-minute mark. Great drive by Notre Dame, right? Awesome. Then 31 points happen and we're in the fourth quarter. That's what the game felt like to me. Will Howard, quarterback of Ohio State, played arguably the best game of his career. Riley Leonard, the quarterback for Notre Dame, I think played one of the best games of his career. Both guys transfer guys. But at the end of the day, Notre Dame's defense did not have an answer for Ohio State, especially the pass game early. Will Howard started this game 13 for 13. And if you remember when we broke this game down yesterday, leading into the 7:30 p.m. kickoff last night. We told you one of our keys to the game was how the cornerbacks of Notre Dame handle the wide receivers of Ohio State. And at the end of the day, I would say that the wide receivers of Ohio State got the better of the two, 231 yards for Will Howard yesterday. He spread the football out to 6 different dudes, 5 for Jeremiah Smith, and 6 receptions, that is, for Agabula. So that was a key, and it turned out to be advantage Ohio State. So Ohio State goes up 31-7, all right? And they just played sound football. Jeremiah Smith had a touchdown. Judkins had 2 on the ground. He had 100 yards and 11 carries. So you're like, okay, they're just playing really good football. No one had really turned the football over. Notre Dame put one on the turf, didn't lose it. And then you get to the fourth quarter. And you're like, the end of the third quarter. And you're like, oh, there's that Notre Dame team that we expected to show up. Okay. They go down the field. They make it 31-13. Then with a really good 2-point conversion play, they get a 2-point conversion. And now it's 31-15. Now, finally, Notre Dame's defense gets a stop. Okay. And this is a turning point in the game, this stop right here.
34, look at it. His hand on that ball's out. That's a recovery. Notre Dame
play is under further review.
Yeah, they're going to take a look, but that knee was up. Chris, just as we were talking at the break,
you said they don't fumble, period. They did.
Yeah.
They hadn't.
And turnovers are the name of the game. So after that turnover, Notre Dame ends up putting up 16 straight, including this touchdown right here. My favorite play of the entire game, Jaden Greathouse. You're seeing it from the top view. One arm catch. How about the throw by Riley Leonard? Drops it in the bucket. Notre Dame still down by 10, 31-21. They go for 2. They make it, and then the rest is history. Because Ohio State on 3rd and 11, okay, Notre Dame sells out for the run, and we go back to that key matchup, okay? Ohio State wide receivers versus the defensive backs of Notre Dame. And this is how Ohio State seals the deal.
Here they come.
3rd and 11.
Heavy pressure, Howard delivers downfield, and Smith, he's got it!
How?
Jeremiah Smith!
And Jeremiah Smith, arguably the best receiver in the country, one of the top 5 easily, and Will Howard sealed the deal. So great effort on the comeback by Notre Dame. Good job by Ohio State weathering the storm. I got 2 problems here, all right? I'm happy, or 3. The first one's not really a problem. It's more of a statement. Happy Notre Dame ended up not getting slaughtered. Annoyed they only played this game for 25 of the 40 minutes, but happy they didn't get slaughtered. First thing. Second thing is they had a chance. Okay. 4th down. Okay. Down 31-15. They get the ball back. They force the fumble. They get the ball back. 4th down. It's like 6-yard line. 4th and goal. Marcus Freeman elects to kick a field goal. Not only do they miss the field goal, which doesn't matter anyways, the decision to kick the field goal is what was stupid. You go get a long 3rd down on that play. You convert a 4th down on that drive. And then you get to 4th and goal on like the 6. You're down by 2 scores, 16 points. Okay. So your 2 scores already has to be touchdown, 2-point, touchdown, 2-point. And you elect to kick the field goal? Even if you make the field goal, you're still down by 2 scores. And by the way, those 2 scores equal 13 points. So you're not doing yourself any favors. So you were going to go from down 16 to down 13. Then your field goal kicker shanks it off the uprights. You're like, all right, that's atrocious. So the decision was atrocious. And then that was atrocious. And then finally, my third issue here is I get the 3rd and 11. I get that Ohio State wants to run out the clock. But this is the best receiving university in like the nation. Ohio State literally is called wide receiver U. That's how good they are producing wide receivers. You didn't think that guy, Jeremiah Smith, is that dude, didn't touch the ball in the second half. And you're going to be that naive to believe as the defensive coordinator of Notre Dame that they're just going to run the rock and give you the ball back? Come on, man. Best wide receivers in the league. That just can't happen. So those two decisions for me. First off, the inability to make an adjustment on defense for 20 minutes before Ohio State goes 31-0 on you without an answer. But more so than anything else, how on 3rd and 11, take all the rest of it out of it. You have 3rd and 11, 2:20 left. You have a chance to get the ball back with one timeout in the 2-minute warning, and you give up a 50-yard bomb? Just can't happen. Just can't happen. So, congratulations to Ohio State. Whether you wanted them to win or not, you got to give Ryan Day and the squad credit. They were getting crushed at their loss to Michigan. And then they find a way to get to the national championship. They beat like the number 1, 3, 7, 6 or something. They beat like 4 of the top 7 teams in the country ranking wise on their way to the Natty. So good for them. Mike Corvallis writes in, Notre Dame lacrosse has back-to-back championships, but yes, football got beat down under Brian Kelly. Yes, Michael, if we were talking not college football, we could talk about Notre Dame all day, every day. But when it comes to college football, and Mike, obviously the host of Daily Dive, 1 p.m. every day, the only daily lacrosse show in the history of life. So all those people out there that love their lacrosse, I've been watching it too. It's a lot of fun. I pop it up on my YouTube when I'm getting work done at the house. So check out Daily Dive. And yeah, you want to talk about good Notre Dame on Daily Dive, Michael, feel free. But the football Notre Dame that I know, unfortunately, finds no way to make me excited. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a quick commercial break, get Rocky on this show here, get his opinions. I got to believe he has one on this topic. And then it's Hockey with Rocky. And I know that fires everybody up. It fires me up, so it should fire you up. It's the Rome Show, 12ozsports.com. We broadcast live on X, YouTube, and Roku TV. After this quick commercial break, we come back with Rocky Romanella and Hockey with Rocky.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them. Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Matchup. Inside the glass. Hockey with Rocky.
What's up, everyone? I'm JT Miller today, inside the glass, coming live from the ice. Yeah, what's up?
All right, Rocky, what's going on? Nice to see your face.
It's great to see yours. I also agree. I don't understand why we're kicking a field goal on the 15-yard line. We just went for it on 4th down at 30. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't get it. Like, you're in the literally same position. You got to score twice. So why wouldn't you go for it? Doesn't make sense. And then I actually will give Ohio State credit for the rope-a-dope that they pulled on the 50-yard bomb to secure the win. And that is they got a first down with the quarterback run. Can't remember the dude's name. That's me, because
Will Howard.
Yeah, typically Ohio State quarterbacks lose their name once they get to the NFL, so it doesn't matter.
Except for CJ Stroud, he's keeping his name right now.
No,
But
I
you were
like CJ
correct.
Stroud, actually. You're right about that. But like the quarterback has been dominated, like Will Howard dominated them with his feet all night, right? So he gets the first down. Then it looks like they're seemingly going to pack it in. Kirk Herbstreit's literally talking about how Notre Dame is all in. They've packed the house with 8 guys. They're one on the outside. They make the stop to make it third down, and then they just didn't expect the big play. But I'll give Ohio State credit for that, for the rope a dope, rather than the bad decision. But all the bad decision on the field goal, all on Marcus Freeman.
And I agree with your thought process. It's like, dude, kudos to Chip Kelly, who's the offensive coordinator for Ohio State. You've heard that name before. Kudos to Chip Kelly for dialing that up, giving confidence in Will Howard. But it's like that clip that we used to have of you, Rocky, that it was like, nobody practices the defensive 2-minute drill. And it's like, you know what? If Ohio State would have just ran the rock and punted it, not one person in the country would have been mad at them. But you're right. I'm actually so tired of watching that. Oh, we're just going to kind of give up. No, you have the football. Go end the game. And that's essentially what they did. Last thing I need to get from you on this topic before we get to the ice surface. You've always been not a Notre Dame hater, because hater is the wrong word, but you've always been a skeptic, a Notre Dame skeptic. I can remember multiple times in my lifetime where you've been like, they're not going to win. They're not that good. And every time you've been correct. It's one of those things like the Jets or other bad franchises we've seen in the history of time, like Arizona Coyotes. Why, Rocky? What do you think it is? What gets you to the national championship game? You're playing teams great. You're the second best defense in the country. You're doing all these great things, and then you give up 31 unanswered, and it almost looks like you're getting blown out of the building.
In Notre Dame's modern day history, the problem with Notre Dame is that, like, if you were a kid and you watched Rudy, you naturally cheered for Notre Dame, right? And like you have there's something about classic football, the way their uniforms look, the stadium, everything about Notre Dame says you want them to win. And that is the case. But in the modern day history of Notre Dame, outside of a couple of great players, every time they've actually been good enough to go to a big bowl or to the national championship game, I had always seen a couple of games during the year, because they're always on TV, where like they like didn't play good, and like they played tight to like Army or Navy, or like they played tight to like, or they got like kind of like,
Or they
washed
lose to
by like
Northern Illinois.
USC. Like they just like they never had it. This year, on the other hand, I thought they were good enough. I really did think they were good enough. I thought that they played strong. I loved the way they played in the playoff. Like I like Marcus Freeman. This year was more disappointing than anything because I wasn't a hater and I was all in on them. I was more hating on all of these people not from Ohio that were like Ohio State, like OH. Like, dude, you're not even from this state. Like, if you're from Ohio and you're all in, you're good with me.
Yeah,
Put
I'm
on
cool
your
with
hype
it.
video, like go Buckeyes. Like
LeBron James, feel free.
LeBron, like you could be all in on Ohio State, and by the way, you could be all in on Ohio too because you didn't go to college. It don't matter.
Yeah, so
Like you're good. You can be all in on Columbus if you want.
yeah, be a Bowling Green fan, whatever.
Dude, you are 100% Ohio, but everyone else, take a walk.
Yeah.
Like that I don't get. But I was actually in on Notre Dame, but they've never put together a season of dominance that says when they've made it to the national championship, this is right.
Yeah.
At this year, differently, and this is why I love the playoff. I had no qualms about who was in the final.
No, I didn't either, honestly. I mean, I might have had qualms on the numbers that were ranked next to them.
Well, the way in which they select them and where the bye is, they can tweak that. But the playoff itself produced the teams that you believed should be there.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if, and obviously you have recency bias of the way it played out, but I don't know if there's anything else I would have adjusted.
No, but go to the semifinal. Go to the semifinal. When you look at the 4 teams, you're like, no, these are,
right. I think the only thing I would have adjusted is I feel like Oregon got shafted as the number 1 seed with their path to the final, whereas Penn State and some others might have had a slightly easier path, and that has to maybe be adjusted. But outside of that, I couldn't agree with you more, Rock. I really enjoyed it, and I had no qualms about who was in the final last night.
Yeah, maybe ASU doesn't need a bye. Like, let's.
That's such a good point on you. We're
Yeah.
talking to Rocky Romanella here, resident hockey and apparently now college football expert. I thought Rocky just made a really great point about Notre Dame. I'm not going to give it to you though. If you missed it and you want to hear it, Rome Show Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, or just go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/12OZ Sports, subscribe, get the Rome Show. You can rewatch the show whenever you want. In my opinion, Rocky just likened Notre Dame to another version of the Dallas Cowboys. The difference is, I think Notre Dame has, I know you do. Notre Dame has significant more success, I think, in like, winning 10-12, not necessarily always just losing in the playoff either, but to Rocky's point, getting to the highest pinnacle and maybe never getting over the top. But either way, go back. You can listen to that point. Let's get into hockey, Rocky, hence the name of the segment.
Let's do it.
Anyways, do you want me to give you some thoughts or do you want me to give you your headlines first? What would you rather?
We could start with JT Miller. I know that's on both of our lists.
So end of the day, my bad, got my words mixed up there. JT Miller may, for the Vancouver Canucks, or may not, Rocky, be on the trading block. Give me your thoughts on that.
I don't understand it for multiple reasons. And there's two big reasons. One is fanship based and one is actual based. So the actual based one is like JT Miller's on a no trade clause through 2030. So he has to okay a trade. So if any talks are happening, it's obviously with a team he wants to go to, which is the New York Rangers. Okay, so that's step one. So how he got on the trade block, how he's always been mentioned, it's really only been about one team, and it's going back to the Rangers because he's got a no trade clause.
And I think that's the thing that I was missing in the initial article. I'm like, oh, okay, so he was their leading point guy last year. I know Vancouver is underperforming this year, but it seems like their GM isn't shutting this thing down. And all I keep hearing is Rangers, 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 and that's where he got drafted. So it sounds to me like that makes sense.
Not to mention, if the Canucks are going to sell, how are you not trying? I mean, JT Miller, if you believe he's in, I know that there's talks of JT Miller, Elias Peterson not getting, not being friends. Elias Pettersson had his own issues with the organization last year before his contract. But if they don't have any of that, and I'm looking at the team, and if they have to sell because they're not going to make the playoffs, I'm selling Brock Besser for everything I can get for him because he's a UFA at 6.6. He's like 6.6 on the cap hit. He's a UFA at the end of the year, and he's a stud. He snaps the puck. He can score goals. He's a sniper. If I'm gonna get a rental at the deadline and I'm on making a cup push and I need a winger, I'm going to get Brock Besser.
And are you looking at Besser as a guy that a franchise is going to have to say this is just a rental, or do you think he's somebody that they could?
He's both. He's
Okay.
both. He's a trade and sign. Depending on how he plays, but there's no reason why that guy is not. And he's got half a no trade clause. He has a 10-team no trade clause. So he's available, But when it comes to the fanship side of JT Miller, it annoys me that he'd be coming back to New York. And that's what I don't get. And now I've got guys like Braden Schneider, that Alexis Lafreniere. If we move Braden Schneider and Alexis Lafreniere, it's gonna be very hard for me to be happy with the Rangers.
I feel that. I am flashing on the screen right now the quotes from Canucks general manager Patrick Alvin. And essentially the reason why I really wanted to get these comments on the screen, read them as you're watching, is essentially just to summarize. He essentially doesn't say anything specific about JT Miller. He essentially states, if our team is underperforming, well, first off, if our team performs, we're good enough. But if we're underperforming, and this is where we're trending, ever since I became the general manager, it is my goal to improve the franchise. And sometimes, Rock, this is a business. You're going to have to make decisions and get rid of players or move players that maybe every fan loves, maybe is a franchise favorite, or maybe is somebody playing elite. But in 3 years, that was the exact move you needed to make, though in the moment you didn't want to.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to JT Miller, you look at, you've got
I got
Elias
his stats
Pettersson.
hopping up on the board too, by the way. So as you
You've got
go, we got
Elias
his stats
Pettersson.
here.
You've got JT Miller. You've got Jake DeBrusk. You've got a young guy in Dakota, this Dakota Joshua guy, right? They're all in until 2028, 2020, 2030. You've got like pretty good defense. Like I would think that you would want to, I mean, you've got Quinn Hughes until 2028, like as your captain. You've got Thatcher Jemko that you're going to want to resign at some point. Like you've got a really good core. You're winning games. I just don't see why JT Miller's there. And that is my true problem with it. The Rangers are driving the JT Miller conversation. They drove it last year. They're driving it this year. It's the Rangers who have created this buzz. It's the Rangers who keep saying that they want him. And I argue that that starts in the media. And then, it always trickles up in New York sports, which kills me. And that is my problem with the whole scenario. Why are the Rangers driving this? Why can't we go? Why are we looking at someone who we essentially didn't sign for the long term? That we did. We went and got Vincent Trocheck for
Yeah.
the long-term centerman position.
Yeah.
We signed Philip Hedl to the 4-year deal. We've had Zibanejad tied up till 2030. So
You
I don't
made your
understand it.
decisions.
So here's what I did. I'm going to put together the trades that would happen if we got JT Miller.
Give it to me. Let's roll.
If I'm getting JT Miller, I'm trading Philip Hedl. I am not trading Alexi Lafreniere. I am not trading Braden Schneider. I've got Lafreniere till 2032. I've got a re-shine Snyder. He definitely has proven it, right? And I've got Zach Jones behind it. If I've got to give up a D-man, I'm giving up Keandre Miller. So I'm going to put Keandre Miller and Philip Hedl in a package, and I'm going to send them to Vancouver for JT Miller, right? I've got my 3 centermen and Mika and Trocheck, and now JT Miller. Sam Carrick has secured his spot as the 4th-line center. I'm good through the middle. JT Miller can play with Lafreniere. He can play with Panarin. He can play with all of the talent. You're deep through the middle. I'm good there. Philip Hedl has injury. He's injury prone, right? He's on $4.5 million until 2028. Plus Keandre Miller, who's an RFA. He's a trade and move, or he's a trade and sign, right? Give that option to Vancouver. The money makes sense. But from there, if you're going to move Keandre Miller in the package, you still need another D-man. That's a top 4 D-man. Now, I think Zach Jones should be in the lineup. But if Zach Jones isn't in the lineup, now you've freed up room to go get Ivan Provorov from Columbus, or you're going to go get like a Jeff Petrie. You can't get Neil Pionk because the Winnipeg is going to play. So I don't know if they're going to move Neil Pionk. So I'd be moving Ryan Lindgren for Provorov, and maybe throwing in. Or if I'm not going to make a move at D, I'm also moving Ryan Lindgren probably, and I'm going to get Patrick Kane. Or I'm moving Riley Smith to get Patrick Kane. Their salaries are about the same, but Riley Smith's 3 years younger than Patty Kane. And he can be signed for like 2 to 3 years of a core in Detroit, where Patty Kane's going to be a 1-year deal for the rest of his career. Those are the moves I'd be making if I got JT Miller.
There's your general manager, Rocky Romanella. I put on the bottom, Rocky, at least the initial trade that would get you JT Miller. Now, the key here, if you're reading the bottom of the screen, Rocky wants Keandre Miller and Philip Hedl for JT Miller. Some other things got to go on there. We're talking like the baseline of the trade beginning and what could happen for each franchise. General manager, Rocky Romanella. I definitely agree with that. Before we move on, because we got about 2 or 3 minutes left here, do you have any other trades or things that you thought you would suggest to the people that you're looking at? Now, if everyone was wondering, the NHL trade deadline's March 7. So we have roughly 6 weeks here to dissect this.
And the reason it's important, though, is because on February 10th or 12th, when the Four Nations kicks off in 4 weeks. When Four Nations kicks off, the amount of guys that are going to be showcasing themselves in that tournament that are going to be in consideration or potentially on the block is going to be a big deal. There's going to be a lot of moves made during that 2-week span, and you get a leg up maybe 2-3 weeks ahead of the deadline.
February 10th is when the Nations Cup starts?
12th to the 20th.
So I'm thinking we might have to get a rock solid, rock soft here in terms of the Nations Cup when we get a little bit closer, so you can let the people know who you believe in and who you don't.
Big moment for the veteranship. Big moment for USA Hockey as our youth has continued to dominate. So it'll be big for USA Hockey to see. But I mean, I think that Sweden team is nasty. So we'll see.
Rock, I saw something over the weekend that I thought was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Okay, I'm going to play it for you, and I want your honest, as a hockey guy, I want your honest reaction to how fired up you would have been if this happened while you were on the ice. All right.
A little English on it, but it was kind of Swedish as it slowed down.
Actually, but he left.
And I was reading that this is the first goalie in NHL history. I guess he had an assist earlier in the game too.
Oh yeah, 2 multi-point game.
That's so yeah. So apparently this is what I was reading. I couldn't find the assist, but I read it everywhere that he was the first goalie in NHL history to record an assist and a goal on the same evening.
I mean, there's nothing better than a goalie goal.
No,
outside of a goalie fight, it's a goalie goal.
Like, yeah, if you were to rank goalie activities on the Pantheon,
it's goalie fight, goalie goal, great save.
Then they're their job. Oh, that's so great. All right, Rock, as we wrap up here, as we always do, we give Rocky the floor for his final thoughts. Sir, the floor is yours.
Over the weekend, Hobart College Hockey Division III back-to-back national champions broke the NCAA Division III hockey record for consecutive games won. Dating back to November 17th, 2023, Hobart has gone 38-0-1, including its second Division III national championship. They are unbeaten over the last year and a half of play, and that is the Hobart Statesman for you.
Wow, that's wild. You know, give another round of applause. First off, for Division III hockey. Good reference there, Rock. Really nice.
No doubt.
Us Division IIIers really appreciate you for that.
That's right, man.
That's some good stuff. Well, it is Tuesday. We appreciate you and your thoughts. Like I said, Rocky had some good things, not just about hockey today as well. So you got to this was an elite one. You got to go back on the pod and listen to this one. Rocky, as always, thank you for your Tuesday time.
Yeah, enjoy your bananas, people. We'll see you next week.
Oh, God, good reference. I love that out of you. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for Andrew's, his favorite segment of the weekend, or the week, excuse me. It is Daily Bananas.
Ba, 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 banana. Ba, 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 banana.
Potato time. All right, people, here's the deal, okay? Yesterday, I took Notre Dame at plus 9.5. I mean, were we not there? Oh, wait. Late field goal, Ohio State. They win by 11. Don't get that one, okay? I take Jeremiah Love for a touchdown. Oh, Notre Dame decides they're only going to give him the rock 5 times, and Riley Leonard is going to rush the ball 15 times. 9 more than anyone else on the team, essentially, even though he only averaged 11 rushes during the year. So, no Jeremiah Love touchdown. But Jeremiah Smith, the aforementioned in the video, scored a touchdown. So we went 1 and 2 last night. Now, right now, this January run for me, it is the definition of why you must gamble responsibly if you do. If you're bananas out there, be smart, because you might make what really looks like good decisions, and at the end of the day, the Chiefs run out of the end zone. And those 2 points you can't account for, that play you can't account for, and that is why the bananas are dangerous. So just be responsible. Thanks, everyone. Okay, it's Tuesday, so we usually choose hockey because it's hockey with Rocky time. So let's give it to you. We got the Preds, Smashville, versus the Sharks. The Predators, since Julian and I have gone to the game, have won 3 straight. You're welcome, Smashville. The Sharks, who are essentially the worst team in the National Hockey League, have lost 3 straight. So simply, straight up, I'm going to take the puck line. Give me Smashville over San Jose tonight. Okay, the Capitals, Alexander Ovechkin, one of the best teams in the league. I'm most interested in him catching Wayne Gretzky, but the Capitals on the road are 14-8 against the spread. They take on the Oilers, also one of the best teams in the league, but at home, the Oilers are 11-12 against the spread. So I'm going to go with the Caps at the plus 1.5 here because of the numbers ATS as opposed to the straight up record at home or on the road. So Caps plus 1.5. And then finally, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, again, one of the worst teams in the league. But if you look at their against the spread record, they're 30-16. So what does that tell me? Bottom line, they play close games. And most spreads in the National Hockey League are going to go at 1.5 to start. They are facing the Panthers, who, though one of the best teams in the league, are one of the worst against the spread. So I, in that situation, go with the same logic I went with the Caps. If I have a team, no matter their record, who's elite against the spread in the situation they're in, I'm going to take them. So I will also take the Anaheim Mighty Ducks at the plus 1.5. So our bananas for this Tuesday is Preds money line, Caps plus the 1.5, and the Anaheim Mighty Ducks plus the 1.5. I'm 20-23 right now in 2025. We're going to turn it around. We're going to turn it around as much as we can. Hey, thanks for listening to today. Thank you to Rocky for joining like he does every Tuesday. You missed it. Go to 12ozsports.com and find it, or YouTube, or the podcast. So many options. Andrew Romanella, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. For now, I'm saying peace.
Thank you for listening.